Good evening and welcome to Hydenic Media Newscast. My name is Artsakh Armenian and I am your guest host. We have a comprehensive lineup of news for you today, including key developments in the homeland, Syria, local news, and beyond. Let's begin with the latest headlines. 7 days after the change of power in Syria, yesterday the bells of Armenian churches in Syria rang for the first time after a long pause. Life in Syria is gradually being restored, and people are trying to return to their normal lives. As of today, classes have been restored in schools. The Armenian Relief Society continues raising funds for Aleppo Armenians facing dire economic conditions. Residents have been unable to work for nearly 2 weeks, with prices soaring 3- to 4-fold due to instability. While the Armenian Prelacy of Aleppo has distributed stipends to alleviate financial pressures, spokesperson Maria Khatchadourian noted a lack of support from the Armenian government. The Eastern USA Armenian Revolutionary Federation, Armenian Relief Society, Armenian Youth Federation Youth Organization of the ARF, Homenetmen and Hamaskain issued a joint appeal for Syrian Armenian emergency community relief. The appeal read, "By now, our communities are acutely aware of the significant political changes that have occurred in Syria over the past several days, impacting the entire country, including Aleppo, where the majority of the Armenian population resides. As the political situation plays out, people have been sheltering in their homes and are in a state of dire need because the ability to work and pay basic living expenses has been curtailed due to the delicate security situation on the ground and throughout the country. Under these evolving circumstances, it is essential for our community to dig deep and donate financial support for our brothers and sisters in Syria, as it has done for the Armenians of Lebanon, due to the evolving and ever-changing political circumstances in that neighboring Middle Eastern country. We urge our members, supporters, and Eastern United States communities to donate to this emergency Syria relief effort through the Armenian Relief Society Eastern United States, which will ensure that the funds safely reach the intended recipients via its international ARS channels. Our communities have a well-deserved reputation for providing generous financial support when our people require immediate assistance, and we are certain that we will again join together to respond to this latest crisis impacting the Armenians of Syria. And now, for news from the homeland. On December 14, the supreme body of the ARF Armenia held an international conference entitled Armenia-Turkey Relations, Threat or Opportunity in Yerevan. The various aspects of Armenia-Turkey relations were discussed. In his remarks, the ARF Bureau representative, Khatchadourian, noted that Panturanism is not an ancient ideology and movement, but a present threat. The process of international recognition of the Armenian genocide is a deterrent to security. It is necessary to strengthen the Armenian army so that it can ensure the security of the homeland. It is also necessary to improve the quality of relations with international powers such as China and India, he emphasized. Speaking at the conference, Chair of the ARF Supreme Council of Armenia, MP Ishkhan Sagatelian, said, "The settlement of Armenia's relations with Turkey cannot proceed by denying and rejecting the Armenian identity. We must finally realize that the goal of the Azerbaijani-Turkish tandem is not only the occupation of territories or economic interests, but the elimination of our national identity." Sagatelian added that the Armenian authorities are reaching agreements with Turkey and Azerbaijan. The only real proposal made to the Armenian people in this context was a refusal to protect the collective rights of the people of Artsakh and the process of international recognition of Armenian genocide. This is not a formula for achieving peace, but a path to self-destruction. The first meeting of the Investigative Commission on the Implementation of the Socio-Economic Rights of Artsakh Armenians forcibly displaced from Artsakh took place in Armenia's National Assembly. Contrary to the will and desire of the ruling majority, but by law, the Investigative Commission had its chairman, Deputy Artur Khatchadourian, who began work with his colleagues from Artsakh, discussing the issues and challenges facing the forcibly displaced Artsakh population. Such a committee is important to have the concerns and issues of the stateless Artsakh citizens gathered and recorded in one place. The National Assembly of the Republic of Artsakh has called on the United Nations and its member states to recognize the independence of Artsakh, stressing that the only way to prevent further atrocities and ensure the safe return of Artsakh indigenous Armenian population is through international recognition of the Republic of Artsakh's independence and right to self-determination. The recognition of Artsakh's independence is crucial for restoring historical justice and ensuring the safety of its people, and will contribute to the dignified and safe return of 150,000 Artsakh citizens to their historical homeland, the appeal stated. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan stated that the signing of a peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan is very close. Speaking in Parliament, Fidan noted that there is a glimmer of hope for achieving peace in the South Caucasus. Ensuring peace will contribute to the region's development and create new opportunities. He stressed that Turkey supports all efforts in this process and that his country backs the negotiations between the parties, which are ongoing on a bilateral basis, without intermediaries. Turkey has recently started to declare that negotiations between Armenia and Azerbaijan should be held without intermediaries. It clearly has in mind the European Union, the United States, and Russia. The meeting of the Committee on Legal Affairs and Human Rights of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, PACE, was held in Yerevan, during which the consequences of the humanitarian problems created by Azerbaijan's military offensive against Artsakh were discussed. The day of the meeting, December 9, marks the adoption of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, while December 10 is Human Rights Day. The issue of prisoners of war detained in Azerbaijan was addressed at the committee meeting, but since it was a closed meeting, very little was shared with the public. It is worth noting that the issue of Armenian POWs is a permanent discussion topic on the agendas of European structures due to the consistent efforts of the Armenian national committees. Armenia's second largest city, Gyumri, has a new interim mayor, Sarik Minasyan, elected through unprecedented primary elections held by the ruling Civil Contract Party. Though Armenian law doesn't recognize primaries, the process was conducted following Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan's declaration that the winner would be appointed. Minasyan will serve until the upcoming spring elections. Yerevan's Christmas tree lighting ceremony, costing nearly 1.37 million, has sparked public debate about municipal priorities. Critics argue that funds could have been better spent addressing pressing infrastructure and public service needs, especially as tourism has declined by 6% in 2024 compared to 2023. 2 years ago, Azerbaijan launched an illegal blockade of Artsakh's Berdzor corridor, escalating to a full-scale ethnic cleansing of the Armenian population. We remember those displaced and the heroes who defended the Republic of Artsakh with limited resources. Efforts to hold perpetrators accountable remain urgent. In local news, concerns are growing about the mysterious drone sightings in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and other East Coast states. Dozens of the flying objects have been spotted since last month and have raised growing concern among residents and officials. While residents and multiple public officials called for a response to the drone activity, the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security said in a joint statement that there is no evidence the drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat. They added that many reported sightings are manned aircraft operating lawfully. Now let's go to American Armenian news, where the Armenian National Committee of America, ANCA, celebrates a year of unprecedented progress in empowering Armenian American youth through dynamic educational and leadership programs in our nation's capital and through creative outreach initiatives across the United States. Over the past year, over 100 students and recent graduates participated in the Washington, D.C.-based flagship programs, with thousands more reached through innovative community outreach initiatives. The ANCA has broadened and deepened its commitment to nurturing the next generation of community leaders, poised to make impactful changes in their communities and beyond. In the latest film industry news, Shohakat Vardanyan's documentary film 1489 has won the Rome International Documentary Film Festival. The film captures the struggles and hopes of a family during the 2020 Artsakh War and has received acclaim internationally, including at the International Documentary Film Festival Amsterdam. In sports, Lionel Messi's participation in a political ceremony in Baku, laying flowers at authoritarian leader Heydar Aliyev's gravesite, has drawn criticism. Meanwhile, Armenian athletes continue to shine. Artur Davtyan won gold in gymnastics at the Mikhail Voronin Cup, and Alexandra Grigoryan earned bronze in weightlifting at the 2024 IWF World Championships. That's all for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for further development stories. Good night.